and welcome to Africalēnisi, Terentius Afer's legacy. We might never know the reasons why Terentius Afer decided to leave Rome so hastily, right at the peak of his career. Neither would we know the autopsy of his demise. But when connecting or joining the dots, Terentius Afer might have been threatened by someone powerful or simply gotten tired of the city he had been kept hostage as a slave for many years. He probably wanted to erase the pain, the past, and start anew in a new city. Sadly, although Terentius Afer may have departed unceremoniously without a trace, he never forgot about the future generation. Thus, we are all duty-bound to educate the next generation about his achievements. When we narrate his achievements to a troubled individual today, it could be the light bulb moment that turns a vagabond away from the life of vagrancy. In all the attempts to muzzle the African voice, Terentius Afer managed to leave behind a rich source of history in the form of poetry and literature, which we all unknowingly enjoy today. When one reads his literature, one is destined to see Africa stamped throughout all his texts or lyrics or scripts. He must have been telepathic with his ancestors. This is indicative proof that Terentius Afer, having spent most of his life in Rome and having lost all links to his parents, his heart and soul were still pointed in the direction of Africa. He had powerlessly witnessed the plundering of Africa by his Roman lineage. During his short life, he also witnessed injustices meted out to the weak and vulnerable during his residency with his adopted father, Senator Terentius Lucanus. We are fortunate, proud, and indeed grateful to have known of Terentius Afer. We are also appreciative today to have been introduced to Terentius Afer's comedy and playwrights. It is our duty to treasure his legacy and ensure we pass on his deeds to the next generation. When you go into a theater or an auditorium today in your region, let's just say, on the balance of probability, its origins could have stemmed from Terentius Afer. Today, there are lots of men named Terence, where it would be unfathomable for them to imagine that the origin of their name, Terence, could be traced to Terentius Afer, who was one of the best African playwrights during the era of the Roman republics, who lived from circa 190 to 154 BC. If you are surprised by this fact, all you have to do is to reference or search for the name Terence in any reputable lexicon or encyclopedia, and you would be pleasantly surprised by what you find. Check it out. Terentius Afer appeared to have also been aware of his possible short life, so much so that he worked tirelessly and left a legacy of great quotes. Imagine that. These great quotes are part of our inheritance, and we are all duty bound to ensure his legacy is handed down responsibly to the next generation. As we prepare to draw the curtain of this bedtime story to a close, it will be remiss of us not to mention any of Terentius Afer's quotes. Let's just dip the tip of our toes into about 5 of his quotes. We cannot go through all his quotes here. However, let's just have a taste of only 5, dating back to 154 BC. Funnily enough, at present, we often use his quotes without even realizing the quotes were originally the work from the iconic Roman African playwright Terentius Afer. Let's start with the first one. Charity begins at home. Who would have thought this was a quote written by Terentius Afer? Here you have Terentius Afer, or Terence, laying it out plain, telling us how important culture and upbringing is. In the African society today, if you meet a stranger and you rush home excited, oh, I met this person, the first question they usually ask is, what home is he from? Or what home he or she is from. It doesn't matter how fancy your house is, how fancy you dress. At the end of the day, it's the individual or the family. Do they have scruples? Do they have ethics? Are they respectful? Are the kids respectful? Are the kids mindful of their surroundings in order to make sure they do not upset people unnecessarily? If you bring somebody with lack of respect, lack of self-preservation, lack of cleanliness, you name it, into an environment where some parents have labored and spent time to raise their offspring in a better environment, it brings about carnage, it brings about confusion, it brings about stress. Charity begins at home indeed. Quote number 2. What harsh judges fathers are to all young men. This is very important. Terentius Afer is highlighting the significant importance of discipline and guidance from a father figure or the father or a man in the community. It enables the young offspring to know they have limits to what they do. And if they break those limits, there are consequences. This helps shapes or molds a community into understanding that they also have to be mindful of your neighbor. You also have to be respectful of your friends, of your family. It's very important. It shows that there's also love in the community. When you misbehave, you will be put right so as it resonates in your mind, you don't do it again. We see it today in society. We have lots of sort of uncertainty within the youth, where they feel they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, without consequences. It's cause and effect. It's breaking apart a lot of families. This is a very important quote from Terentius Afer. The third quote: children should be led into the right paths, not by severity, but by persuasion. Here is where he outlines this importance of respect, patience, and empathy to children. Children learn from their elders. You can also interpret it that way. How you raise the child is how the child will grow up. However, even though this quote appears to be straightforward, it could be applied to adults. Imagine you've just started a new job. It's highly pressurized. You don't know where all the procedures are stored. You don't know where all the processes are. Nobody's speaking to you because everybody's busy. When you ask somebody a question, the way they respond, either by talking very loudly, telling you, sort of belittling you, it's not a good thing. It doesn't help. You will not be able to learn fast in such an environment. And if not careful, you would leave before your probationary period is probably even over. So this applies not only to children, it applies to adults. The fourth quote: they are so knowing that they know nothing. This can be applied to bullies at the workplace that do not let you speak, or sometimes managers who are running large accounts, who know it all, refuse to listen to anybody else. Those in senior positions sometimes utter the most outrageous things, which defies logic. You have presidents, prime ministers in some countries, during press conferences, say things or utter things not realizing how vital everybody relies on them, how their words can cause unrest. They sometimes say things which violently agitates the mind. It puts one in a position to question, can a leader really be talking like this? What happened? What happened to all his press secretaries? How is he being advised? If you know not something, it's best to say, I don't know, and you shouldn't be punished for it just because you don't know. The fifth quote: how unfair the fate which ordains that those who the least should be always adding to the treasury of the wealthy. Here you have Terentius Afer accentuating on the injustices, the greed of the rich, who continuously extort and exploit the poor, or the have-nots, which still happens today. We salute Terentius Afer, and we are all grateful to have heard and known of him. This brings me to the end of Terentius Afer. Thank you for watching. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now. Bye.